This is Smart Tally, and it is not your average tally light. It's in fact probably the only tally lamp on the market that runs entirely on PoE. One cable, power and data, it's done. Smart Tally comes with the native support for the most popular broadcast and production integrations right out of the box. And if you need more, everything else is covered with the Blue Pill server or a SKAARHOJ panel like Fly Pro. We've also added a brand new simulation mode with a fresh GUI that you'll see in a moment, so you can test, configure, and validate your setup before you ever plug it into a real system. And this is a brand new SKAARHOJ product. And in this video, I'll show you exactly why Smart Tally changes the game. First, I want to show you how the mechanical layout is of the lamp. So it is built into machined aluminum. It's a really nice enclosure for this lamp. On the back side, you'll see information that you can care about another day. And there's a through hole that makes it possible to sandwich it with cameras, like POV cameras. So there's a 1/4" screw going through from the bottom that fixes the camera to the lamp and then onto a 1/4" thread onto a tripod of some sort. So that's the situation you see over here. It does have a front and a back, and you can place a label in front of both sides, front and back. You can also control these individually, as you'll see in a moment. And then on the side here, we have USB-C power and configuration data. And we also have PoE, of course. Now, if you don't have a PoE switch, it is possible to run it on standard Ethernet and just power it on USB-C using that plug on the side right there. So that's the mechanical configuration, and it will come along with a cold shoe like this, so you can mount it on top of your camera however you want. There are plenty of options when it comes to that. But now I want to show you the UI, which is looking like this. So obviously it has an IP address because it's an IP device, and it ships with a DHCP as standard, so it will show this is the IP address that we're talking to, etc. You can give it a name, and you can also go in here, and then you can see what is actually the colors on the lamp right now. So if I want to turn this one off, you can see I can turn off the front, I can turn off the back, only I can see that, but it turns off. It's now amber, it is green, it is red, and it's probably a little bit too bright for you to see, so I could also change the front lamp intensity like that, save it, and you'll see it's gonna dim down a little bit on the so that it's better for the camera to pick it up here in the studio. All right, so that's the simulation of the lamps. Now the other lamp over here, you're right now looking at the rear lamp, so I can change that into red, and there we go. It is actually, especially if I turn down the volume of it, and these two are separate, then you can see that we have a label sitting here on the lamp. That's a label that you can basically print anything onto a transparency and then add it to the lamp here. Okay, so that's a little bit about how you can verify your connection to the lamp, that you have the colors that you need, and by default they are also raw panel enabled. Now, raw panel is an IP protocol SKAARHOJ has developed that makes it possible to integrate into various different broadcast devices. So many companies are supporting raw panel protocol. We are, of course, supporting it. So you'll see in a moment that the Fly Pro over here, we can basically add a lamp as a panel. So why not just try it out? So you'll basically see, as we discover panels, we could search for Tally to filter the list of things that pops up. And if I pick the first one here, then you'll see basically I am now connecting to the lamp over here, and I could select the configuration, which we have none of right now, but the lamp is here. We can configure how to talk to the front LED and basically associate that with a particular input on the switcher. So let's try it out. Let's say that we want to drive this on let me see, we can actually search for program preview, and then we could find program select. We could then hook it up with a switcher and do stuff like that. But it's not the main way that I want to show you that we will work with the lamp. I just wanted you to see that it pops up as an IP device on the network. So the way raw panel works, and I'll show you that using what is called Raw Panel Explorer, which is a helpful debugging tool, or not debugging, but it's scanning the network for raw panel devices. And we see the first lamp underneath the Dreamship camera over here. So if I pick the front LED, and I'll pick the back one for my own sake, I can now turn it on. It's gonna be white. And I can then pick a red color. I can pick a blue, purple, green, whatever color that I want to put on it. So it's actually RGB LEDs that shows you the lamp or gives you the lamp color. That's very helpful. Okay, so that's how raw panel works, sending commands, and the commands look like this on a network. So if you wanted to do this for automation, you can easily do that. Let me just disconnect this again, because that's the point I wanted to give you. If you want effective integration into Reactor, we have made something called Virtual Tallybox. And Virtual Tallybox is an application which today I'm running it here on my Mac, but basically you see it right here. It is a virtual version of our physical Tallybox, which is well known to many people. And as the Smart Tally is coming onto the market, we have made this virtual Tallybox to have very, very easy integration of the lamps. And right now I'm already connected to my 2 lamps. And if I click on these knobs up here, you can see that I'm basically simulating the colors of these lamps. So now we have green, we have red on these, and then I can swap it around if I want to. So basically this allows me to simulate that the raw panel connection to them works. And now the cool thing is that if I want to integrate this to my ATEM switcher, which is currently controlled using my AirFly, you can see there's I'm swapping sources 1 and 2. I can add my virtual Tallybox as a panel over here. So just do that, and that's basically my manager for the tally lamps. So all my tally lamps would be managed by that. It's now connected into this. I will add the ATEM switcher as the device I'm controlling. And as I'm now pressing cut, you see the lamps are responding exactly as they are supposed to by the configuration that I've made here. So this is how the raw panel integration into SKAARHOJ's universe works with the tally lamps. Very easy, IP connected, very powerful. But the IP connection of these lamps is also what we want to explore a little bit right now, because what is it that we can actually do apart from raw panel connectivity? And let's go to TSL. Guess what TSL is? That is the lamp's ability to listen to TSL messages on the network. So let's try that out. And for this lamp, we are watching the rear. So I'll just basically set up some colors. Let's say that we want it pink if TSL 3.1 on address 3 has bit number 1 set, okay? I want it ice colored if TSL 3.1 on address 3 has bit number 0 set, and let's just keep it at that, okay? So I'll save and reboot this because I just enabled a networking feature of the lamp. So as it's rebooting, I want to introduce my TSL Toolbox, which is an application from SKAARHOJ that you can download, and that will allow you to basically test these messages on the network. So let's just, for the simulation purpose here, type in address 3, because then I can simulate TSL messages on the network. I'll basically be sending them out, broadcasting them out on my network and on this port. So that's what I need to listen to. And in a moment, I'll click these and then we'll see changes on the lamp. So let me see, we just rebooted this. We have these picked up. So bit number 3 and 2. All right, so let's go over to the TSL Toolbox and manipulate 1 bit here. So we see now, okay, let's look at it with the top view camera. We have the purple coming on, yes. And then bit number 0, and nothing happens. And you know why? Because the first one that we listed in the UI was purple. And since that's still on, it is blocking for the eye. So this is a priority order as well of colors. So if I remove bit number 1, we are now getting back to the blue one. And if I remove it completely, then it's going to blank out because nothing here matches anymore as we are mapping these commands over. Okay, so that was listening to TSL messages. We can do the same for the front. We can do it for TSL 5.0, where we have screen, index, and we have bits depending on left, right, and so on for different values. Okay, let's move on. HTTP, what is that? That's basically, if you look at the help here, it is get commands you can use to set the colors of the lamp. And basically, if you copy paste this, and then you put it, we could do that for the remainder here, and then just put it after the IP address. We'll see that on the front. We're not looking at the front, it's the front. So we'll basically turn the front on in red. And that's exactly what we get on the lamp. So that's automation, very easy automation. You can put it anywhere you want. But I want to take you all the way through to devices, because on devices, we can connect it directly to our ATEM switcher. So it is only recommended for a limited amount of lamps, because ATEM switchers, they have a limit to how much can connect to them as a client. So I don't recommend that you do this on a large scale, but it is possible. to connect a lamp directly to your ATEM switcher. And to prove that, I want to just disconnect this guy, because just a moment ago, when you saw the ATEM switcher tally reflected on these lamps, it was facilitated by the Fly Pro and the virtual tally box. But now we're going to talk directly to the ATEM switcher. So let's just type in its IP address here and reboot the device so that we'll connect to the ATEM switcher and we can map commands from for this lamp down onto the map tally from the ATEM switcher onto the tally lamp easily in the devices section. All right, we are connected, it tells me, and then we are watching the real lamp here. So let's just say I want it red, and that's the priority color. If camera number 3 is on red tally, I want it green if camera number 3 is on green tally. And then of course you could make it blue if it's on, like, you know, auxiliary, whatever. But let's just keep it at this. Save. All right, so right now what do we have at the front? Nothing. All right, so let's just pick 3. What do we have? We have green on the front. Let's just watch it with the top view camera here. We have green, and then cuts, and we have red. Guys, these are the smart tally lamps. PoE-enabled tally lamps, powered by USB-C if you don't have PoE, network-enabled TSL, straight talk to devices like ATEM switches, vMix as well, raw panel compliant, so they fit into many third-party systems, and of course, all SKAARHOJ systems. If you think this video was great, you can subscribe and like our channel. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and X. You are very welcome to sign up for our newsletter so you get some monthly updates. And you can always reach out to our sales and support team if you have any questions you want answered by a human being.